Are you looking for a platform to share your views, concerns, and stay informed? Then Wake Up Guyana is for you. Join senior journalist Leonard Gildari Monday to Friday at 13 hours for Wake Up Guyana. Participate in our call-in segment to get instant feedback and solutions. Wake Up Guyana, only on Kaieteur Radio. Kaieteur Radio, the radio with a difference.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio. I am Kevin Smith. Before we get to the news in detail, let's get to the front page comment of today's Kaieteur News. The bigger picture. We thank the PPPC government for the removal of the VAT on electricity and water and for the free water for pensioners. We thank the PPPC for the $25,000 COVID-19 cash grant and the small increase in old age pensions. When we did an approximation of all these relief measures, the average monthly savings does not exceed $10,000 Ghana dollars. Though citizens are thankful, they should not be so carried away as to lose sight of the bigger picture. And it is regarding this bigger picture that we call again on President Irfan Ali and Vice President Bharat Jagdeo to come clean. The Kanji and Kaieteur blocks have been given away in secret deals to middlemen. We call on Dr. Ali and Mr. Jagdeo to come clean about these secret deals. It is nice to give needy Guyanese about $10,000, but those billions of US dollars that belong to Ghana could make all Guyanese self-sufficient and better off. Guyanese get chicken feed, while crooked leaders get to keep the billions in US dollars from their giveaway of the whole chicken farm. Guyanese must decide whether they are happy with this state of affairs and will stay quiet, or whether they will seethe with rage and being cheated by leaders from both sides of the political divide. Citizens should not settle for handouts. They must call for their just share of the country's patrimony. They must demand accountability and transparency. More importantly, they must press for the billions of which they are entitled. Guyanese must remember that it was only after persistent efforts of the press and individuals that the coalition agreed to release the hideous 2016 contract which Trotman signed in secret. They must remember too that it was determination that finally exposed the signing bonus which the coalition hid away from the people of the country. We are better and wiser now, and more determined. Guyana needs a vibrant opposition. Guyanese call on the coalition, stand up and lead the way forward. Coalition leaders speak out against the deceptions of the Kanji and Kaieteur blocks. Coalition leaders do what presses the PPP for answers on the Kanji and the Kaieteur. That was today's front page comment of the Kaieteur News, along with the page 7 that is dedicated to bluntness. As we said, we will dedicate page 7 of every daily Kaieteur News edition. Activist Raymond Gaskin said that the suspicious awards of the Kanji and Kaieteur oil blocks leading up to the 2015 elections must face the scrutiny of independent forensic experts in an official investigation. He said that an expert team would allow Guyana to identify all those who are guilty of corrupt practices so that they may be prosecuted. He said that the blocks should never have been awarded to anyone just before the 2015 elections, and that former Minister of Natural Resources Robert Prasad and former President Donald Ramotar should come clean about what really happened and who benefited from these awards. Gaskin believes that the awards were not legally done. As to receive such licenses, companies are supposed to satisfy the government of their capabilities, assets, and finances to acquire and develop the blocks. He called on persons who have information about these transactions to come forward and allow themselves to be interrogated. In other news, lands occupied by squatters at Success East Coast Demerara are now heavily flooded, following a decision earlier this week by Kaieteur to do so. In light of the flooding, several squatters have vacated the lands, claiming that it was a move by Kaieteur to get rid of them. However, a significant number of them have decided to stay put, insisting that the water will not hamper their existence. A Kaieteur official who was in charge of releasing the water said that the lands are being prepared for the planting of sugar cane. He explained that the objective was never to remove the squatters, and as far as he knows, it was just to prepare the land for use. He went on to say that he was only fulfilling what was required of him. It was reported that a number of squatters sought to attack those who were a part of the flooding exercise, but ranks of the police force quickly intervened. And moving on, police sources have confirmed that the son of a former deputy police commissioner remains in custody for Tuesday's robbery of the Ego Chinese supermarket located at Melanie Damishana on the east coast of Demerara. In custody was the security guard on duty at the supermarket at the time of the robbery. Based on the information received, they arrested the security guard, and he is believed to be the alleged mastermind behind the crime and was later identified as the son of the former deputy police commissioner. Meanwhile, the prosecution has closed its case for the trial for former GDF Chief of Staff Gary Best. Best was charged earlier this year for cause of death by dangerous driving, and in which national cyclist Jude Bentley was killed. The trial is being conducted virtually by Magistrate Rondell Weaver in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts. During the continuation of the matter yesterday, Best's attorney, Nigel Hughes, cross-examined the witnesses that testified against his client. After the witnesses were cross-examined, the prosecution indicated that they would like to close their case. On the next hearing of the matter, both the prosecutor and defense have to submit their written submissions of the trial. And moving on, Nigel Hines resigns from NISL board. Accountant Nigel Hines has resigned from the NISL board with immediate effect over what he claims to be the continued inhumane treatment being meted out to the squatters at Success. Only today, we have reported that Kaieteur decided to flood a large section of the lands, while a majority opted to vacate the lands on the premise that it was a calculated move by Kaieteur to force them to leave. A significant number still remain, insisting that the flood will not hamper their existence. Things escalated after actions by law enforcement officers resulted in a number of squatters being shot and injured with rubber pellets. In other news, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Hugh Todd has shared that the Ghana and Suriname governments are currently examining the financing and specs of the anticipated Quarantine Bridge. Following his press conference today, Minister Todd shared that the two governments have established a technical team which will study the prerequisite activities for the designing, financing and procurement of services for the construction of the bridge that will link the two CARICOM countries. Let's tell you now that the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, sees Ghana among 5 countries that will lead the medium-term recovery of the global oil supply as the world recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has cut down travel and other industries heavily reliant on fossil fuels, drastically reducing demand and supply. The fall in supply, the organization said, amounted to 3.3 million barrels per day. And finally, the Ministry of Health announced today that 2 more persons have died as a result of the coronavirus, taking the number of confirmed deaths in the country to 109. The deceased are a 48-year-old male from Region 1, a 71-year-old female from Region 4. The ministry reported that both persons died while receiving treatment at their respective medical facilities. The ministry also revealed 52 new COVID-19 cases in their daily dashboard update, which brings the total number of confirmed cases to 3,600 and 72. And that brings us to the end of this evening's newscast. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned. Coming up next is the National Outlook with GHK Lal.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on